45 coolest animals on the planet take extreme measures to survive. From the icy tundras to the scorching deserts, nature's most extraordinary creatures have evolved jaw-dropping adaptations to stay alive. Discover animals that glow in the dark, regenerate lost limbs, and endure the harshest environments on Earth. Get ready to be amazed by the unbelievable survival skills of these incredible species. African elephants are pregnant for a really long time. 9 months is nothing. African elephants have the longest pregnancy of any mammal, which can last up to 2 years. Scientists don't really know why it takes so long to grow an elephant, but it could have something to do with their highly developed brains. Elephants have complex social relationships and cognitive skills. African lungfish can survive out of water for a year. When the African lungfish feels it's in a life-threatening situation, it secretes a mucus cocoon and burrows itself up to 9 inches under the soil, where it gets air through its lung via a built-in breathing tube that leads to the surface. It then relies on rainwater to breathe. The alpine swift can spend 6 months in flight non-stop swifts, especially the larger alpine swifts. Spend months of their lives barely touching down, managing to eat tiny flying insects and even sleeping in flight. One 2013 study showed that over a 6-month period, an alpine swift stayed airborne nearly the entire time. By using a tracking device attached to a group of migrating swifts, the ornithologists could spy on their movements at every moment. Arabian camels drink a ton of water. Camels live in one of the most arid environments on Earth, adapted to travel great lengths through deserts. That means they've become masters at remaining hydrated with limited water resources. When they do drink water, they're capable of guzzling 30 gallons in under 15 minutes. Bengal tigers are the ultimate meat eaters. Bengal tigers are native to India and are known carnivores. A hungry tiger can eat as much as 60 pounds of meat in one meal, and if it can't finish, it usually buries it in the ground to save for a snack later. Barn owls get divorced. Barn owls are a species known to mate for life, but research has found 25% of barn owls that pair up also divorce. It seems to be spurred by young male barn owls, who researchers found tended to end up with a less attractive female the second time around. Serves them right. Beavers have metal teeth. Beavers' teeth never stop growing, so they chew to keep them at a reasonable length. But their teeth are also built to go through the chomping. They have an enamel made with iron, which gives them an orange hue, but also keeps them strong and resistant to acid. Black mambas have super snake speed. The black mamba slithers up to 12.5 miles per hour, but hopefully you can run faster. If it catches you, you have 20 minutes to find some anti-venom, or else you're toast. The snake is responsible for an estimated 20,000 deaths each year. Clownfish change genders. Clownfish experience what it's like to be each gender during their lifetimes. They're all born male, but some turn into females, a process known as sequential hermaphroditism. Both are born with both male and female parts, and some males make the transition if alpha females die. Dung beetles are crazy strong. The dung beetle has been deemed the strongest insect on Earth. They're able to push balls of fresh animal poop, hence their namesake, that weigh more than 200 times their body weight. Researchers documented one individual dung beetle that was pushing a ball that was 1,141 times his body weight, the equivalent of a 150-pound person moving a whopping 80 tons. Electric eels can transmit a shock between 600 and 800 volts. That's enough electricity to kill a horse. And while it might not be enough to kill you instantly, it's enough to knock you out and leave you to drown. Another nasty note. If you're shocked by one, it burns your skin. Emperor penguins dive really deep. Emperor penguins live in the Arctic, arguably one of the cruelest environments, where it can get below -40 degrees Fahrenheit on the regular. They inhabit the ice and ocean that surrounds them and have become experts at surviving. They dive up to 1,755 feet for food in water that's well below freezing. Hippos are insanely fast for their size. While hippos spend up to 16 hours a day submerged in water, they also take to the land and have been known to be super aggressive. And for their size, they're super speedy. Don't try to outrun a hippo because you'll lose. They grow between 2,000 and 4,000 pounds and can run between 15 and 30 miles per hour. Jaguars have killer jaws. Jaguars kill their prey with one bite by piercing the neck of their prey from behind, killing it instantly. And by the way, jaguars and black jaguars are the same species. The lack of markings is due to a mutation that occurs in approximately 6% of the wild population. Komodo dragons eat like champs. Komodo dragons can grow up to 10 feet long and swell to around 150 pounds, which means they eat a lot. Try up to 80% of their own body weight in a single meal. Their post-meal ritual? They regurgitate all of the indigestible parts, bone, hair, feathers, scales, into gastric pellets that smell awful. Kangaroos can jump crazy far. Kangaroos can jump over 27 feet in one bound. They can accomplish this thanks to having small front legs and a long, strong tail that helps keep them balanced while jumping. King brown snakes squeeze out the most venom. You've likely seen videos of scientists squeezing snakes' venom into glass beakers. According to researchers, the snake that contains the most venom in volume is the king brown, which can provide 1.3 grams of dry venom from a single milking. Koalas have human-like fingerprints. In 1996, a team of anatomists at the University of Adelaide in Australia discovered that koala and human fingerprints can easily be mistaken for one another, likely due to the fact that koalas are ancestors of primates. Male seahorses get pregnant and give birth. You read that right. Male seahorses have pouches on their stomachs for carrying babies, as many as 2,000 at a time. The female deposits her eggs in the male's pouch, which results in him carrying a pregnancy that lasts from 10 to 25 days, depending on the species, and ultimately giving birth. Mosquitoes are the deadliest insects on the planet. They may be small, but they cause millions of deaths a year around the world, according to the World Health Organization. This is because mosquitoes carry and transmit a number of viruses and diseases, from malaria to dengue to yellow fever. In 2015 alone, there were 438,000 deaths from malaria. Mountain stone waiters freeze but remain alive. This insect, native to New Zealand, freezes itself for several months and then thaws itself. It's the world's largest freeze-tolerant insect and withstands freezing 80% of its body tissues. It does this to survive drastic temperature changes thanks to a protein that prevents the formation of ice crystals in its blood-like fluid. Owls can twist their heads 270 degrees. These birds have the insane ability to swivel their heads in almost a full circle, thanks to their flexibility and the fact that their heads are only connected by one socket pivot. Researchers also found that owls have backup arteries, so when they turn their heads at extreme angles, they're still getting blood and nutrients when their blood vessels are cut off during turning. Pigeons are incredible co-parents. Male pigeons help to incubate the eggs laid by their female partners from mid-morning to late afternoon, while the females take over in late afternoon and overnight to mid-morning. Both parents, who mate for life, help feed their young when they're born by regurgitating a milky liquid. Ringtail lemurs outstink each other. Ringtail lemurs have one of the most unique conflict resolution tactics of all animals: stink fights. Since lemurs live in large social groups of 20 to 30, breeding season can bring a lot of competition. Male ringtails have scent glands on their wrists and shoulders. The wrist gland produces a volatile, short-lived odor, while the shoulder gland produces a brown toothpaste-like substance, which is much longer-lasting. Basically, male lemurs wave their tails and waft a fragrance toward their rivals, resulting in a smelly standoff until someone backs off. Snails have a crazy sleep schedule. Snails are all over the map when it comes to sleep. We'll define them as manic. They may nap for several hours, then stay awake for sessions of 30 hours or more. On the flip side, they have crazy hibernation periods. They can snooze for periods of up to 3 years. A survival instinct for when they feel the need to self-preserve. Stonefish are the most poisonous fish in the world. The stonefish produces intense vasoconstriction. If you're stung by one, it can cause shock, paralysis, malaise, nausea, and vomiting, sweating, delirium, pyrexia, cardiogenic shock, respiratory distress, and even death if it's not treated within a few hours by anti-venom. If you do survive, the symptoms can last a long time, from days to weeks, and full recovery may take many months. Tasmanian devils have the strongest bite. Looney Tunes made Taz a lovable cartoon character. But in real life, the devil is anything but. According to a study, it has the strongest bite on Earth. Although these animals weigh just 20 pounds on average, they can exert up to 94 pounds of pressure for a bite force quotient of 181. That's nearly twice as strong as a hyena and some 60 points higher than a lion. Tarantula hawks leave the nastiest bug bites. Don't let the name fool you, it's not a spider or a bird. It's actually a wasp, but this insect leaves one of the most painful bug bites. According to entomologist Justin Schmidt, who created the Schmidt Sting Pain Index to measure the severity of bug bites on a scale of 1 to 4, the tarantula hawk is one of just 2 insects that scores a 4. Whale sharks use their 4,000 teeth to eat veggies. At over 25 tons, the whale shark is the second largest fish in the world, and yet it's fueled mostly by plankton, plants, and algae. It has over 4,000 teeth, but it's a filter feeder. It collects food through a technique called cross-flow filtration, similar to some bony fish and baleen whales.